If you've ever woken up on a Monday after a holiday weekend and wished it was still going on, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We are back for another week here on Live Trading. I am your host, Ryan Faloona, and we are going to get it this week. Hope you all are ready and rested, and most importantly, I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome back. I am Ryan Faloona, and we are back with another episode of Live Trading here. Happy Monday. As I said in the opener, I hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend. I got to say, today we're going to start off the show by saying anyone in our Houston or Texas area, our thoughts are with you. Hopefully all is well. Unfortunately, we are down 13 this morning because the power outage in that area from Hurricane Beryl. Now, 13, he did tell me he's going to try and get on if he can, but he cannot control the power. So, GNRC, anybody for a catalyst there? Anyway, we wish 13 the best. I am thankfully joined by News by Nick. Nick, how are you doing here today?
Good morning. Happy Monday. It was a quiet weekend, but that's good because earnings start this week, and that means full-on earnings mode for me.
Quiet news weekend, because I'll be honest, Nick, clearly people in my area were having extended 4th of July barbecues. I had fireworks going all weekend. Now, I'm not complaining because they weren't too late, but certainly wasn't as quiet as I thought it might be. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, it is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Let's go ahead and bring up the chart. Now, as far as the market goes, Nick, I know we've got some news to cover. I know that you said we have earnings starting this week on Friday with JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, and BlackRock, yes. I believe. Okay, so all of that is going to start later this week. Now, right now, the SPY here is opening at all-time highs, right? We are right up near all-time highs. Really kind of want to see how this trades here this week. I have no position on the market at all at the moment, but kind of looking for that because it does kind of feel extended here. So looking at the SPY, I'd love to hear from the group where you think SPY targets are going. Couple of things. Number one, where do you think this SPY move ends up stalling out or maybe reversing? And then what do you think overall we're looking at here for the week? Remember, the big earnings kind of start near the end of the week. So that's kind of what's going on with SPY. Nick, I'm going to run through some of the movers here real quick, and then let's cover some of the news flow from the week. And I know that you said it was a little bit quiet, but let's just cover everything, get everybody up to speed. Then we'll go ahead and take tickers here from the chat. All right. So first things first, let me flip over to my gap scanner here on the movers tool, and let's start right at the top. First one here is going to be, clicked on the wrong one. My apologies. First one here is going to be IVP. This is Inspire Veterinary Partners. You can see we did pop just about as high as 4. We came back to the VWAP, and it looks like we're trying to reset here. Now, we take a look here at the news. I don't really see a whole lot here. So it looks like this is just kind of some continued momentum. If we check some of the calendar stuff in here, like let's check splits. Looks like we had a reverse split at the beginning of May. So not a whole lot going on here. Short interest check, 12.61% of the float shorted. 1 day to cover, so maybe we'll have a little bit of squeeze action here. IVP going to be the first stock on the list here today. Next, Nick, I think you're going to cover this a little bit when we go through some of the news, but the next one here is Morph. This is ticker MORF. This is Morphic Holdings. What's going on here, and Nick will cover this here in a sec, Morphic shares are trading higher after Eli Lilly agreed to buy the company for $57 per share in cash. The stock was $32 last week, so a nice premium there. Stock up 75%. One of the things here about Morph, this stock was 25% shorted at the end of June, beginning of July, with 14 days to cover. So the stock was absolutely being held short into this buyout, and it looks like this is over. Not a stock that's been on my radar at all, not a company that I follow or really even pull up. If you held this, congratulations. Today is a good day. If you were short this, my gosh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's keep moving through this list here. Next one's going to be Zap, and looks like we've got some continued momentum from last week. This stock gave us opportunity several days last week. You can see here on the 15-minute chart how we've really been trading up since that June 13th pop that really kind of kicked this off. It's also worth noting that some of these highs here, although we might not have taken out the impulse move high right away, we did eventually do it in almost every other case. Now that we're starting to get a little bit more extended, this pattern is definitely going to end. Zap here today traded all the way up past 8. Now we've come back into the VWAP and we're sitting here right around 7. The one thing that I will say is that the more that this continues to run, obviously the more risky it's going to get, is there's likely to be some air beneath this and a pretty big sell-off. We'll see if we get that here today. Zap still zapping here as it's continuing its momentum from last week. Next here on the list is going to be GRFS, and I'm fairly certain we've actually traded this one before. This is Griff Falls. We do have a catalyst here that's causing it to move. So Griff Falls shares are trading higher after Brookfield confirmed it held exploratory discussions with certain shareholders of the company in relation to potential joint offer for its shares. So we've got some potential M&A news here. The stock popped as high as 930. It's come back in. It's right under the VWAP. We'll see if this gets going. The one thing here on GRFS that I'd like to see a little bit more of is some pre-market volume. We'll see how that changes when we actually get the opening print. So GRFS, this one, another here on deck. If you take a look at the daily chart here, you really see that this $6 double bottom on the daily is kind of holding. Now, I know we've popped several dollars off of that. Here are some upside levels if this continues to gas. I have this here at 936, but realistically, I'm thinking maybe anywhere between that 936 to 950 is where it might actually find resistance. And then your next one here, which is pretty clear, is going to be about 1075 to 11 in that area. We'll see if we get there here today. Those are some of the upside targets that I'm looking for on GRFS. Okay. Next, Kraken. Now, here we go. This is a former penny stock that we've discussed a lot here on the show. I know the penny players, there was actually some good trading on this. I remember there were a couple of days where multiple people from the chat were ringing the register on this name. You'll notice the price here, about $4.50. So let's walk through what's going on here with Kraken, because things have changed since we traded this the last time. CRKN, Crown Electronic shares are trading higher after the company entered into a contracting agreement, with Paramount Networks, expanding operations in Arizona and Oregon. Additionally, the company revised its Q3 guidance from 7 to 8 million to 8 to 9 million. So got a little bit of a guidance bump there. Now, as far as the share structure goes, remember we were trading this when it was a penny stock before. This did a 1 to 150 reverse split at the end of June. I've got that X date here as June 25th. So this is a recent reverse split, and that reverse split ratio was crazy. So that's why we have a stock that was in 16 cents or whatever it was, up here around $4.50. So now we do have a piece of news here. I'll be honest. I know we've got some other Paramount news here to talk about. I'm not going to be a believer of the catalyst. That is to say, this is not something that I necessarily think is worth taking home. However, we've seen Kraken before. We've seen how recent reverse splits often behave for the purposes of day trading, and I'm looking to see if we get any of the same type of action here on Kraken. At post the split, everything adjusted here, only have 2.7 million in the float, so it's pretty low float. We'll see if this ends up moving around. Again, this is ticker CRKN, so one that we're all familiar with. Okay. Elon is saying here, Ryan, it sounds like Kraken, ticker PNG, when you say it like that. Okay. I'll try and refer to it as the ticker or Crown Electronics. After all, the company's not even called Kraken. It is called Crown Electrokinetics. But I look at the ticker and I can't help but thinking Kraken. So Kraken was never a penny stock, question mark? No, it was. As we just said here, 1 for 150 reverse split at the end of June. That's why it's no longer a penny stock. In fact, most of the times that we've pulled this stock up, it has been a penny stock and a low priced one at that. So that's what's going on here, Kingdom Land. Okay, a couple more things I just want to take a look at real quick. NEG, this is trading up towards the intraday highs that we made here on Friday. That was about 130. I didn't see any news on this. NEG announces a pre-sale for its 10th annual Fantas Tech sale with precision guarantee. So announces that customers can also benefit from as low as 0% financing with a firm. So those people that are trying to buy new computer parts without paying now, they can obviously use a firm here at NEG. That's what's going on here in terms of the catalyst. I'm not sure how great of a catalyst that actually is. Looks like maybe we'll take out Friday, or we'll test to try and take out Friday's intraday high here. That value at 132, 129 seems to be the pre-market level here. Now, there's a couple other things here. I noticed that Lucid here is spiking recently. Looks like we did get some news here right as we went on. Lucid announces Q2 production delivery sets date for its second quarter results. I haven't gone through this, so I don't have any of the information pulled out here. Looks like they're going to have questions. Lucid will host a conference call to discuss its financial results on Monday, August 5th, after hours. So it looks like they're just talking about their financial results here. Lucid, produced 2,110 vehicles and delivered 2,394 vehicles for the quarter that ended in June 30. So you're getting some delivery numbers there. Lucid up about 9% here. We'll see if this actually provides some good trades. Love the car, but this stock has been absolutely dreadful. Anyone that's kind of held this for a long time really hasn't done a good job. Be careful with this one. Also, I saw TSM. I noticed some of the chips here are trading higher. We'll talk about SMCI in a little bit. I know our chat has done a really good job trading some of these names, and I'm curious to see if you guys think some of these names run a little bit more. TSM here really looks like it's trying to break out of 190 and go higher. You can see here on the daily chart where we're at. We actually did take out that recent high. And it's kind of come back in. We'll see if we hold here and maybe move a little bit higher. That's on TSM. And then I think Intel, someone else was asking about this here this morning. Intel higher here in the pre-market. Let's see. Volkswagen Group names Mobileye among top suppliers for 2024. That's some of the fresh news here. That's connected to Intel, and that's what's going on. Okay, Nick, let's flip over to the main chart here. Let's run through some of the news. And then, folks, I'd also like to see what it is that you folks are looking at here today and how you're getting ready to trade some of this. So let's go ahead. Nick, I've got the SPY chart up here. What do you want to cover first, my man?
I was going to say, let's cover the Oppenheimer price target upgrade on the S&P 500. They are now the second highest on the street, Ryan. They go to 5,900 from 5,500. It's about a 6% upside from where they're at. And this is from the chief investment strategist, John Stolfus. And he says, quote, not so much fear and greed, but a need to invest for intermediate to longer term goals. This could benefit the 11 S&P 500 sectors as this innovation cycle shows signs of being both cyclical and secular, coupled with cross-generational demographic needs. Remember, it is the 6,000 price target that is the highest on the street right now. So just below that at 5,900. And just looking around, he expects the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates in late 2024. And he thinks that is another boost. It is interesting to note their initial 2024 target was 5,200. So we have seen some upgrades and some revisions throughout the year.
Okay. Good stuff there. We'll see where we end up finishing the year here on SPY or on the S&P just in general. What else you got, my man?
I was going to say regarding the S&P, Piper Sandler is actually dropping their S&P target. That's according to Bloomberg, says their practice is futile. Kantowitz still favors U.S. stocks, but urges buying quality. Limiting market view to the S&P forecast is misleading, he says. So they are kind of dropping their target. This is the first major research firm that has dropped their target. A few minutes before we were talking, Mike Wilson is on Bloomberg right now. I didn't listen into the conversation, but it seems that, for Morgan Stanley, their view in S&P and JP Morgan, with their target. They're sold 4,200, and we saw Marko Kolanovic departing the firm. And so just to kind of round it up and bring it all home, when you are forecasting the S&P 500, the one thing you need to keep in mind is you need to be right. If not, you're going to be out the door rather quickly.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. What else you got?
Let's actually talk about this Paramount news, because we've been talking about this for quite some time. As you all heard last night at around 6:30, well, the news first broke by the Wall Street Journal, but then at around 11:30, the deal officially came out. Paramount Global is merging with Skydance Media, forming new Paramount valued at $28 billion. Skydance investors to receive 317 million Class B shares. Transaction is expected in the first half of 2025. This was happening for quite some time. This finally came about. You saw Sherry Redstone finally give in. This agreement finally happened. So we'll see in the long term how David Ellison and the new CEO management kind of reshapes Paramount, given CBS is owned by Paramount Plus, or Paramount, I should say. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all shapes out, to see where the stock moves. And whenever Paramount does report earnings, if they give any guidance, if they give any more details on the call regarding Paramount and Skydance, and you're going to have to keep an eye on this, streaming everything, just to see how the new innovation all comes about.
So basically what you're saying is that we're not yet at the end of this Paramount saga. We're getting closer. This is one more step, but we're not quite at the end of it.
Well, we'll see where the stock goes and how this all trades about. It seems investors like this news, and traders are digesting it. So we shall see. I just found out a few minutes ago the agreement has officially been signed. So we will see where Paramount goes in the long run. But you can see that stock is massively off its highs, just going out in the long run. Look at the volume.
Yeah,
there's still a lot that needs to be happened. So we'll see if this new management and this new era kind of helps Paramount, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Thinking about it says anything that removes Sherry Redstone is a plus. Whoa, joined by Zade. Zade, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning. It's been a while.
What's
going on? Good morning, Nick. Always love the tie. I'm excited, man. Got a couple of stocks to look at. 9 minutes till the bell. Got a new sponsor. You know what I mean? I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Okay, that's awesome. Look, Zunaid, when we open here, I want to finish our rundown here, but when we open, maybe talk a little bit more about that new sponsor. But before we get into that, I haven't seen you since the 4th of July, and I've been doing this with all the people I care about. Can I get a finger? Let's go, dude. Nobody blew their finger off
check,
this year.
baby.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Great.
But
stuff.
Imagine if that one person unfortunately did. You know what I mean? Well, granted, they probably wouldn't be on camera this soon, right? Because doctors, hospitals, surgeries. But yeah, no, it's a good bet. But what's going on, Becca? What's up, Jay's life? Should be fun. But what stocks you got? I got a couple I want to go through. What you got?
Okay, Nick, I was going through some of the stuff here with Nick. Nick, what other news do you got here?
Did you want to talk about Morphic Holdings with Eli Lilly? Because you said that was a biggie.
Yeah, I just there are just a couple of things here. Jay's from the chat here is already hitting it. Why don't you tell us what's going on here, and then I'm going to tie this together here with Jay. We'll do this one here real quick, Zunaid. I want to cover cores because multiple people have been asking about that. Then I'm just going to turn it over to you to finish.
You got it.
Yeah, so Eli Lilly is buying Morphic Holdings for $3.2 billion. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. If you're not familiar with Morphic, they are developing therapies for the treatment of serious chronic disease. So this is a potential catalyst for Eli Lilly and Morphic in general, given Eli Lilly is in this space regarding therapies and just the overall market for drugs and necessary for chronic health issues. So watch Eli Lilly and watch Morphic. It will be interesting to see how well Eli Lilly does when they report earnings and when this official revenue generated deal comes together. We know it's signed and it's official, but we'll see how much Morphic can add to Eli Lilly.
Okay. Now, the reason that I wanted to cover this here real quick, no surprise here, Jay Rice kind of caught it. One of the things that was interesting about this is the high short interest. So when we were running down more from some of the movers, I mentioned some of that short interest. As Jay's saying in his comment here, over 6 million shares held short, just about 6.3 million to be specific, and that represents 25% of the float shorted. Now, Jay, what you're doing here is you're kind of tying this to TJTX, at least on the short interest relation there. This getting bought out here, and you're saying, hey, TJTX still pretty highly shorted. This almost the exact same metrics, Jay. The $19.30 stock, 24% of its float shorted, so just under that 25, and in this case, over 33.5 million shares. This obviously has a much bigger float. So is TGTX maybe one of the next ones to have this kind of buyout? I don't know, Jay, I'd like to hear a little bit more, but this is a really good connection here on Morph. Anytime you have one of these mergers and acquisitions that you're not already in that you can't play, it's worth it trying to find some more of this information. Jay, you hit that right there on the head. Okay, real quick, I want to cover cores and then Zade, let's get ready to rip. I can't wait to see what you have on here. It's been too long. Here you go on cores real quick. First of all, the daily chart here, this for sure, this formation, definitely a bullish one, at least in my opinion. This to me looks like it's absolutely trying to break out. I've got the actual high print here about 1070, but a little bit more of a resistance here at about 1050. Let's look at that. The one thing to keep in mind here, RSI is teetering on that border of overbought right now, so maybe this kind of trade sideways. One thing that I would like to see is obviously these higher lows, which we're seeing since the end of June. If we continue to see that, I think that just kind of puts more chips in the pile for the breakout as opposed to the breakdown. That's kind of what we're looking at here on Cores. Now, for those of you that don't really follow this, Core Scientific is engaged in blockchain and AI infrastructure, digital assets, self-mining, premium hosting, blockchain technology, etc. This is tying in crypto, blockchain, and AI. One of the things we haven't yet discussed, but it's worth mentioning here, is Bitcoin really kind of got hit over the weekend. Futures currently trading at about 57,600. So something else to kind of watch here. Now, the recent Cores chart telling you that this is still pretty strong. So any of you guys have anything else on Cores, would love to hear it. That's kind of what I see here. If I was a betting man, I'd be also betting for Cores to break out here. However, no position. All right, really quick. Jay Michael saying, any word on 13, hoping him and family are okay with the hurricane. Jay Michael, yes, I have been talking to 13 this morning. Him and family are okay. I appreciate you sending your well wishes. They're having power issues because power is in and out in the Houston area, which is why he's not here today. All reports are that it's good. I'll be sure to pass that along to him. Appreciate you looking out. Okay, Zade, looks like Siri is another one that people want to take a look at, so we'll hold that in the holster. But let's start with some of the stocks that you're taking a look at. You got a screen? You can look at this.
Sure
guy.
do. All right,
look at this guy.
Come on, you gotta get it going here. All right, so Siri 353 was a previous close, so we'll set our support levels there. You can see it acted as resistance last time, then bumped down and acted as support. To the upside we went. We take a look left, and you know you've got a bit of resistance here at the 416 level. So for me, this is kind of the range where it's at. If it breaks out above 416, I'd be interested in this one in terms of where I would want to take my profits. I think you've got a couple of levels to kind of keep an eye on. You've got another one here at around 430, so you got to get over that. I'd say about 460 or so. 450 or so would be my targets if I did get into a trade on this one on Siri, ticker SIRI. Another one I want to take a look at is Amazon. Cracked 200, went to the upside, but now it's kind of come back down below. You can see how everyone and their grandma was waiting for this 191.45 break. We finally got it, moved to the upside, and now we're kind of trying to get above this $201 level, a little bit below it at the moment. We'll see if we're able to. Oh, nope, it just cracked above. So anyway, point being, we're waiting for this level to see if it's going to go ahead and make a move to the upside, or if it's going to go ahead and come on back down to test this 196s. If it does, I'd be interested in that. But I want to see it base maybe a little bit above 200. Then I might want to go ahead and take it long. I got to zoom in on these charts, and you're speaking too fast. You're definitely right that I do speak fast. Let me see if I can zoom in on these charts for you. Give me one moment. Let me. There you go. I kind of zoomed in a little bit. Let me know if that's good enough for y'all. That's Tesla. So this is Tesla. Once again, the whole numbers is what I love. If you're new here, the 250 level is what I'm keeping an eye on. We'll see if it wants to come back down or come back up and test it. And if it rejects, I'd be interested in going short on this one, maybe to come back and test this trend line that everyone is keeping an eye on as well. So that's what I've got there on the NQ. If you're a futures person, I actually already have a couple of trades there. Let me move this. You had resistance last time we were up at this level. I'm looking to see if that resistance is going to stay on a couple of these accounts. Again, just for full disclosure, these are not, it's not paper money. It's not real money. It's the funded account that I have with Apex. You guys know we have a Futures Fever show. So that's what I'm using anytime I get a chance to trade. So you see, I got a couple of contracts short, looking to gain 500 with a stop loss of 500. We've got this short on a few of the accounts. Let me see here. Where's another one? Yep. So here's another one. So a bunch of them kind of spread out just to make sure I can take advantage of it. I'll let you guys know if I do hit the profits or hit the stop losses, but that's one that's interesting. Hood, we still are holding on. At least I am still holding on to the contracts that go all the way out till 2020 or 2025. Good Lord. In January expiration. Hood, I think, reports earnings on August 7th. So I'm going to definitely 100% hold it through that in hopes that the deposits that were coming in from everyone else and their brokers is going to be a good news. But Hood 23.22, if this one breaks to the upside, I will add those calls to the position and then see if we can scale them up to 25 and then get out of them.
Okay, awesome stuff. Z came in right under the bell here.
Yep.
Real quick before we open, as a reminder, this stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above that 25K day trading threshold or simply need some more dry powder to execute your trading strategy, Trade the Pool might be the people to help you. Great guys. They come in here and give us trade ideas as well. Okay, we are getting set here for the open. 12 seconds until we open here. Let's see what we can make of it. I'll go ahead and here, Zade, let me flip over to this one real quick. Let's add this, and then let's do this. And there we go. Now all we need to do is this, and we can flip back and forth with the click of a button. This is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see. Okay, we're open, folks.
Let me see. I might need to.
Okay. And Zade, I noticed another banner here at the bottom of the stream.
Yes.
You want to talk to our group about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, something that I'm a big fan of is whenever events are happening in life, whenever something else is going on, sometimes not everyone can trade futures, right? You want opportunities to trade, you know, uranium, for example, copper, gold miners. And so Sprott ETFs is someone that we've partnered up with, as you can see on the bottom. So if you're interested in, you know, trading, say, for example, uranium, you can go to their ETF here and you can get a chance to trade in it, invest in it, whatever you want to do. Obviously, you know, make sure you have your own risk parameters set. But this is another way to where if something is happening in the markets and is being impacted to uranium, you get a chance to go ahead and trade that. Same thing for copper, same thing for nickel. So definitely highly recommend check out Sprott's ETFs. There are a variety of different ETFs for you to be exposed to. So I will go ahead and post a link to their website so you know everything that they have available, including energy transition ETFs as well.
Okay, really good stuff there. SMCI here popping out of the gate, folks.
Put that up, SMCI.
Looking around. A couple of names that we had. Oh my God, there goes SMCI. Big move higher here. Big move higher here on SMCI. I didn't get filled on that, bummer, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll kind of hold this. Hold the thought. I want to see where this kind of goes and where some of the chips stop trading here. Jay's Life mentioning NCLH Norwegian here. Was there anything new going on in this? This is definitely popping here. 1773. We're actually about to break to 100-day. This looks like a pretty decent curl on the daily chart. This actually might be a fairly decent swing here if this can continue. It's not a bad
Seems
call.
like travel is strong, Ryan. I mean,
yeah, it sure does.
We are starting to see airports issue 2 to 3 hour advance notices saying, hey, you got to come through TSA check line early. And so we'll see if that trend continues. Waiting to hear from AAA and the airlines, TSA later this week to see how well travel did for the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's something that we'll definitely keep our eyes on here. Zap right out of the gate, trying to push away from the VWAP here. 750 looks to be a test. We'll see if we end up getting there. 750 here on Zap.
All right, real quick on the NQ trade that I had, went ahead and closed out some gains for $600. A couple of the other accounts still have their options open or their trades open because of the difference in ticks. But yeah, we went ahead and locked some gains in some of these accounts. $600 on the board.
Great job there, Z, starting us off here with a win. That's what we want to see.
Tesla again staying below the 250 level.
SPY continuing to try and push here. 555. We'll see if it gets above 556. It did break above that. What else do you guys see out there? Neg.
AMD, Hood, GME. I'm still surprised AMC's above 5. But...
Yeah, so am I.
NVIDIA. Let's check out NVIDIA.
How about
NVIDIA? I was
yeah,
going to say they got a price target this morning, Zade. UBS goes to 150 from 120, and they say, quote, our recent supply chain checks confirm our prior suspicions that demand momentum for Blackwell rack scale system remains exceedingly robust. This comes as sentiment on the stock, though still strong, has faded somewhat in recent weeks, creating more of a wall of worry that should be ultimately healthy in our outlook if our outlook materializes.
All right, 150 for them. You can see I've got an alert set on NVIDIA at 129.46. If it does decide to break to the upside on that. If it somehow, some way comes back for a retest around this 123 level later on today, I would definitely be interested. You can see there's a trend line test on it and also the previous support that it had. Obviously invalidated a few times, but that's another area for a dip buy if I can get it. But otherwise, 130 break is what I'm interested in.
Okay, good stuff there. As Tom mentioned here, stopped out of Zap, as was I. Zap halted here. That looks like that is a halt to the downside here on Zap. So that one didn't work here. We'll see if that ends up firming up. Jay's Life giving GLW here. This one I think is interesting. This is Corning, right? So Jay, you looking at this for a swing here? Actually, that just broke above here. Corning is going. Oh, here. No. So Zade. So this, yeah, right here. Yeah. All you need to do is remove your screen and we toggle back and forth.
Oh.
Watch Zap.
Look how sweet it is.
Here we go.
Ah, cool.
Back to Zap as normal, up 60.93%.
Yeah, just pulled off that move away from the VWAP into a downside halt. So we'll see where that opens before we determine what the next angle is here. Again, that is halted as we speak.
Are you in a trade?
No,
Perfect.
You're good.
All right, NQ. So let's go through it, right? I'm going to go through each of the accounts that I took the trade in. Didn't take it in this one, took it in this one. So we made $500 on this account. Again, went ahead and shorted at the top where we believe resistance was because we went ahead and looked. So that's $500 there. Let's see what else we got. Another $500 on the same account. Again, that's the beauty of Apex, where you get a chance to kind of have similar trades that you want across multiple different accounts. So far on the board, I think I might just have to do live trading every day because I don't get a chance to trade. We're up about $2,000 on the board. I'm happy. I'm excited. I might need you to invite me more.
Yo, look, Zade, we'll take you anytime. We love having you here. The group loves having you here. The big thing with trading, at least in this community here, the more the merrier. So you're welcome to join by any time you'd like.
Absolutely, and
Anytime.
I see that. Yep, just saw that. And by the way, heads up, Lynn, I think you mentioned this just in the chat. So the ads, they were running about, what was it? I think like every 8 to 10 minutes. We kind of, got your feedback, talked to leadership and said, hey, look, we believe we need to lessen the frequency.
Yeah.
And so now it's every 30 minutes you'll be hit with an ad. And again, if you have an ad blocker or anything like that, you won't see the ads. And, I apologize. Like we said, bear with us. We told you by the end of the first week of July, we would make some changes, and we have. You'll get ads much less frequently now. And we're going to continue tracking and getting your feedback, right? So if you have any, please put them in the chat so that we can go back to leadership and say, hey, here's what our metrics look like. Here's what we believe is our next step. So I promise you, we're working on it. Hang tight with us, which is also why, again, you see Sprout on the bottom, right? So hang tight.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
And I appreciate, Zade, you working behind the scenes. I had kind of mentioned last week that you and the entire team are continuing to do that. So, folks, we understand exactly where you're coming from. Appreciate it. By the way, some banks here moving right out of the open. Apple pulling. Looks like some of the tech names starting to reverse here a little bit. Goldman Sachs up here at the highs, 470 or so. Looks like we just lost Nick. Hopefully it's not weather related. Also, Schwab getting mentioned. Is that moving as well? That one up here a little bit. Goldman Sachs moving on some volume, though. How about some of those other tech plays? Did we start? Yeah, NVIDIA pulled off a little bit. SMCI. That kept rolling. Wow, SMCI. Yeah, Tom, that's definitely something that we're looking into. We did pass that along.
Yeah, Tom, and that's also why you see like a Sprott's banner on the bottom. You see trade the pools on top, but definitely going to continue getting feedback like yours, and just provide them to the team.
Yeah.
That is all we can do, Mike.
ANVS popping here. This is what the good stuff here, DJF. This is one that we were on yesterday, week, perhaps. Good Lord. ANVS, this did have some moves last week. Looks like we're popping above the high that we put in on the second, on July 2nd here. ANVS, this actually looking pretty good, although the spread's a little wide here for a potential day trade. That's also on the scanner, by the way. Here's Corning. We're still waiting for a 4150 bust here. 4152 has the biggest size, but it's not really big at all, frankly. Fairchild, I consume too much YouTube to abide by ads. That's what I think. Me too. I don't even see the ads anymore. I watch so much YouTube.
I know, right?
I've got some of these penny stocks here on the list, Zade, but I'm trying not to go to those. RCM, what's this one? RCM, this looks like this is going to new highs. Just rolling through some of the tickers here. NVIDIA looks like that quick dip might be getting bought.
Yep. And then Greg from X went ahead and point out what we talked about earlier about the upgrade from UBS from 125 to 150.
IVP was another one there from the list. That's actually not breaking down, but holding beneath the VWAP. We'll see if we can get some juice on that one. That's IVP, India Victor Papa. CRKN, Crown Electrokinetics. Boy, that's going to be difficult for me to say. We might be curling here on CRKN. Seeing some JPM calls come across. Oh, those can't be. No, those are closing trades. SMCI calls coming across. Trying to monitor some of the option flow here. That is still ripping. Boy, SMCI. This was the right target here this morning. No fill thing ran away from me. Bummer on that one. Should have been a little bit quicker. SMCI, this looking here pretty good. I would say if you took this trade right out of the open, we're up 30 points here. Definitely trim and trail on a day trade here.
All right, let's see.
Round as well.
What in the world is? Yep, there's that.
I noticed that Archer actually gapped higher a little bit more today. We talked about this last week. Kathy buying more shares here. Archer selling off out of the open. This dip getting bought, though. Keep your eye on Archer. That whole Kathy juice here might get this rolling. No new trades on Archer. I do own a little of it, but I own it higher here, so...
I'm waiting to see what Amazon does on this 15-minute close here in 3 minutes. Let's see if it does want to stay below 200. If it does, I would probably go short with a stop loss above pre-market highs of $200.50.
Okay. VPRX is open.
So that's what I'm keeping an eye on.
Oh, VRPX. VRPX. I think you, Jonathan, mixed that one up unless I got the wrong ticker. NEG. Trying for Friday's highs. We talked about this at the outset. Those highs here, just to give you that level again, those highs here, 131, current price 127. This GLW data center play that Jay talking about, we did break those pre-market highs here, Jay's life. See if we go any higher here. You got any targets for this? Are you looking for a move up towards this? What? No, we're actually higher than that. Let me get a better daily chart here and see if I can't ascertain some of those levels. Let me know what you have there. Looks like the next spot looks like the next spot I have on here, about 43.5 GLW, and then 46.75 would be a level above that. Zap still halted. HLVX. Someone was mentioning this one earlier, right? HLVX. Yeah, that was Hyovax. Those that okay, so here, let me bring this up here real quick. We didn't cover this, but I suppose we should real quick, at least cover the news here. This is ticker HLVX. This stock down 86% here today. Shares are trading lower after the company announced that one of its drugs' clinical study did not meet its primary or secondary efficacy endpoints. The company will discontinue further development of that drug. Folks, I don't know if this is going to be a potential bounce play here. Maybe you get a kind of a dead cat bounce, but that's pretty bad news. Looks like this initial pop here was sold. Wiss, you're trading this one? Okay, bottom fishing this one? Okay, let me know how that one goes. I'm probably going to stay away from this.
Where in the world? Okay, there we go. Let's see. We got about less than a minute. Ooh, see, here's the thing on Amazon. By the way, are you in this trade? Are you still going on?
No, I'm not in. I'm just kind of watching it. You're good to switch around.
Sweet. Here's Amazon, right? And I kind of don't like that there's this big wick where buyers stepped in here on the 15-minute. It makes my trade to go short via puts not as desirable. So I might still take it, but I might take it with much smaller size than I typically would like to. But let's see. Let me go ahead and log into everything. Yeah, let me go ahead and get some Amazon puts. I'll tell you guys exactly the strike and the ticker and everything else as well. By the way, I think some folks in the chat remember that we talked about a trading competition that we're having. It'll be the lawyers are literally so close. It is amazing how many emails we have seen exchanged between the lawyers on the broker that we're partnering up with, and obviously our internal counsel as well. But man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I'm excited. It'll actually allow me to come back and trade a little bit alongside you guys as well. So keep an eye on that. Hoping to announce that here in about a week, if not around, less than that maybe. But that should be exciting stuff. All right,
anything that brings us more Z, probably a good thing, honestly, Zade. I'm not going to dispute that at all.
I appreciate it. As long as we keep on winning, I'm sure chat would want that as well. I'm waiting for my broker to load up, but go ahead.
Really quickly, just scalped NVIDIA on that recent pop here. That might still go, but I'm just trying to get some green on the screen here real quick. Zap, this opened and went lower. It's curling. Let's see if that comes back here, fills that gap, and moves through the VWAP on Zap. ANVS. Oh, well, I wanted to come back to this one, and I came back to it too late. Big spread there. No way I can buy that one. This is popping here off that VWAP. DJAF, I think you brought this one up. You got any levels on ANVS that we should be made aware of here that you're watching? Curious to know. One decent pop, although we're getting a lower high there on that one. Maybe wait for this to shake out here. Is that Amazon trade working out? Right at 200.
Yep. We just got puts, by the way. They got a few contracts at the $200 puts expiring this week on Amazon, ticker AMZN. My stop loss, let me share. Yeah, you got yours as well. But just to recap the trade, $200 puts on Amazon expiring this week. Stop loss for me is going to be when the stock itself goes above pre-market highs, call it about $200.60 or so. I will go ahead and be stopped out.
Real quick, DJF, Apple doesn't like the Epic game news. Actually, I'm behind on that one. Epic Games accuses Apple of delaying its game store launch. So that actually came on Friday. Apple approved Epic Games Marketplace app in Europe amid ongoing feud. That news was Saturday, so it looks like the market's reacting here to Apple down here, actually. This was green to red on this move, down 1% here. Ticker AAPL. That's what's going on there.
Let's see. Oh, that thing flew way back up. All right, let me go and view my portfolio. All right, down about 16% on my Amazon puts. I'm going to go ahead and close them out. And I am out. I'll tell you exactly where I got in and where I got out for a loss. Let me go to my order history here. All the trades that I executed, not just the open ones. Okay, so the Amazon $200 puts, I got in marketed at 247. I got stopped out at 217. So I lost approximately 30 cents per contract. As you can see, Amazon went ahead and blasted through, and now it's coming back in a little bit. However, I had a trade. I had a stop loss. I kind of abided by that. Will I be annoyed if this kind of goes all the way down? Yes, but you know, that's the game we play. Stick to my stop losses. I'm okay with it. Let's see if Tesla is still. Ooh, okay. So here's Nvidia trying to get above this 130 level. That's going to be interesting to watch. See if it's able to. Again, don't forget you had the upgrade that came in from UBS on Nvidia as it looks to break to the upside. Matter of fact, if we kind of and there it is.
I've been waiting for that fire alarm sound to fool me for like 6 months, Zade. 6 months I've been waiting for that to come back. Here we go.
Totally forgot. All right, let me mute my
No, it's okay. It's literally okay.
No. I just don't want the chat to get at me. You know, I know there's some new folks, but by the way, this trend line so far has been respected across like a week or so on Nvidia. You can see the higher highs on this trend line. So, man, if somehow, some way, Nvidia kind of comes back to test around here in the middle of this little trend line, that would be a good spot to kind of go long in terms of risk reward, in my opinion. You'd probably risk about $2 to $3 and see if we can get a move to the upside again. And oh boy,
I'm gonna keep flipping around here, Zade. Sorry, I was dealing with some stuff there on the side.
You're good.
Nvidia continuing to roll here. 130s now on Nvidia, stopping there at 130.25.
Tom, I got my haircut. I got my haircut a couple of days ago because I had a family gathering, so I had to make sure I didn't look like a bum. You know, I didn't want them to think the reason I'm not married is because I look like a bum. You know, just
does anyone actually think that though, Zade?
No,
I guess that's what I'm confused. I was going to say I don't.
But I did have my aunt. As soon as she walked through the door, she's like, "You find a girl yet?" And I'm like, "Aunt, you asked me this 2 weeks ago." She's like, "So the answer is no?" I'm like, "No, the answer." I'm like, "Yes, the answer is no."
I'm sorry, Zade. I'm sorry for you and for laughing. I'm laughing with
you,
not at you.
It's insane. Every time I go to a wedding, it's like, so what's, you know, to the point where I'm like a rebel. They're like, "Hey, like, when are you getting married?" I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking about having a kid first. I don't know. Just kind of reverse life.
Oh, you're just turn the tables on them?
Yeah.
Turn the tables? Oh, man.
Yeah. You know, she'd be like, "Yeah, I think I'm just going to have a kid first." What do you think?
I bet they loved hearing that.
I get slapped in the old shoulder because I know I'm kidding, but am
slapped in the old shoulder. By the way, folks, Zap here turning around above its VWAP, slowing down though. Be careful.
All right, so here's a game plan for me on Nvidia. If this
BRB, 1 sec while you go.
You're good, pal. If Nvidia continues to chug along, when it comes back to test this 129.50 area or so, I will go ahead and go long via calls. Right? So just a heads up on that. Going to wait to see how this 15-minute reacts. I'm not going to chase here. I'm going to wait for it to kind of pull back a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my entry in. And Carmen, I think earlier you mentioned about the weather that we had here in Atlanta. And yeah, it was pretty ugly, man. I had a very stressful weekend. And unfortunately, the rain did not make it any easier. I actually texted a friend of mine and I told her I'm so stressed I could feel my hair coming out of its follicles. I don't know if I said that right, but taking a look at Nike. Someone's calling it out in the chat. What happened to Nike, man? Yikes. Yikes. Nike to the downside, man. Man, oh man, oh man. The next area that I see so far in terms of support would be the $60. But like, is it really going to go to 60?
We talked about that. That was a happy hour discussion here. 65 was a back to truck up spot if it does go there.
Yeah, well, you can see it's now coming up to the previous support area, right?
Nike.
It's coming up to its previous support area of about the 74 area. See if it wants to bounce from here. Who will dare to get in? Maybe you risk about 50 cents, you know? Thoughts on Palantir? My man Amit on Twitter has some great insight on Palantir. He knows this as well, but he has a bias to the long side on Palantir. But in terms of a day trade or a swing trade, let's see what we've got. So that's one of the levels I had marked out. Obviously, we are now below that. But man, this stock was like in the teens. Matter of fact, I think it was less than $10 not too long ago. Here it is.
Yeah.
Less than a year ago, it looks like. And then you had beautiful support. Oh, man, these are the things I love to see. Obviously, it's hindsight now, but it was being drawn right before it. What lovely support levels on the daily here around the $14, and then to the upside it goes. But it's kind of like in this range now between $8 or so. If it does crack this 1828, if it does crack the 1982 level, you obviously have a gap to fill here at the $18. So keep an eye on that one. Zap halted to the upside.
Yeah, that one ended up hit. That was a dip and rip on Zap there.
Sure
That's
was.
why you play those close, frankly.
I wonder if it went to came below BWAP and then said bye-bye.
I'm still looking around here, folks. I'm sorry about that. GRFS, that kept moving down. I wish I had cores in trade the pool. I only have that here in the Benzinga feed. Core, wow. So real quickly here, folks. There's cores. We were talking about this one earlier. This really fell out, broke away from the VWAP, really kind of plunged down here to the low 9s. We've bounced already and come back here to 10. So you folks that were on cores earlier, curious to know what you're thinking here and what you're looking at. You guys were clearly onto something. This is a pretty good dip to get bought there.
All right, let's see. AMD.
Yeah, Kingdom Lamb. The entire tape on Zap is red, though. Yeah, definitely much harder to trade on those names. That dip and rip was nasty, too.
Kind of interested in AMD, but I'm going to hold off for now. Let's see.
Do you think AMD plays catch up to some of these other names that it's lagging behind eventually, Zunate? Are you trying to play it for that?
Yeah, what I'm looking at is like the level that I had was around this 171, but obviously you kind of wigged higher. So even if I go, say, right about there, you're right there. And if it'll hold its support, then great. But yeah, I wouldn't be upset if I got into a trade here and then waited till maybe, say, gave it about a crack of 170s or so. So you're risking approximately $5 to test the 180s and then maybe even the 185s, or yeah, right around the 185s or so there. So I would say you're risking 1-to-1. And then, of course, you're looking to go to the upside. Robert, I think Ryan's the man who handles B2C, so I'll let him answer this one.
Repost BZ Pro trades. I don't see why that would be a problem. What trade are you talking about?
Yeah, I would say as long as you're kind of keeping it tasteful and you're like, hey, I really love this one idea that XYZ threw out. Here it is. I mean, that'd be great. But if you're spamming it and then that's kind of unfair to what the analysts get, because obviously they get paid to do this. So
yeah, the other thing here is that I think what's more valuable than just straight picks are reasons why. This is why when we bring guests on and we ask them about that, we try to get a little bit of insight into why they made that pick, not just the pick itself. Or try and focus on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily see a problem.
Yeah.
I can look into it, though.
Okay, so I've got a trade that is not stock related. Can I talk about crypto for a minute?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. We got crypto people in here. Absolutely.
So crypto is obviously one of those scenes where anything now, thanks to pumped out fund, can be created into a token. I don't exactly still know how it works, but apparently that's a thing. As soon as you know that Trump has announced X individual as a VP, that's whose coin I'm buying for the first 30 minutes or so, because I expect full on momentum to the upside for that person's coin. Obviously, not financial advice. Be very careful. There are a lot of pulling rugs out there and all that good stuff as if they're Aladdin. Be very careful when you're trading these.
Did you say as if they were Aladdin?
Yeah, just a little rug pull, something. I don't know.
I see your meme. We'll copy and repost it. That's actually hilarious.
Don't clip
I
this
think
one.
that's fun.
Don't, like, I know Brad and us are on an effort to like repost our content. Please don't post that one. I'd like to.
I'm not. I'm just. I thought that was rather amusing, and I'm giving you credit for it.
But anyway, so yeah, that's one trade that I kind of have in mind. And obviously, if Biden drops out, and this is not anything political, I'm just strictly thinking financial. How am I going to take advantage of the things that are happening in the world? If Biden drops out and another nominee is the one to step in, their coin is something that I would look to. So like I've got a few $1,000 ready to go. I'm just waiting.
So here's my question, Zade. So I don't deal with this. One of the things I've talked about when it comes to cryptos and tokens and all of that, I stick with some of the main ones. Does everyone have it? Does every political guy have a token? And what's wrong?
I believe some of the majority ones. What's wrong is I went ahead and got Amazon puts. I got stopped out, and then it came right back down. That's what's wrong with the world. But that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, I mean, look, that happens. You get head faked.
It does. That's all right. The question is, am I going to get back into it? The answer is yes. So let me go back to Amazon. Now, if I lose on this one again, then I'm obviously going to be done for the Amazon trade itself. But
AI at the highs, by the way, that's ticker AI. SEDG, that's Solar Edge. That's at the highs. That had some news here today, Solar Edge. Solar Edge shares trading higher after Bank of America Securities upgraded the stock from underperform to neutral. Stock's up almost 9% on that upgrade here. That's SEDG.
All right, let's see. Oh, I got such a bad fill, man. The Amazon puts, I got back in at 266. I had it at 255 when I hit the buy button. All right, low a day is what I'm aiming for here on Amazon. Again, I've already lost once on this trade. I'm looking to trade it one more time, and then that's kind of up. Up is going up. I see you, Robert.
SMCI here getting a little heavy off that initial push off the open, and it'll be interesting to see if this builds and takes another leg higher or if this actually comes back in. All right, folks, it is 10 o'clock. So and it's more importantly, it's 10 o'clock on a Monday. You know what that means. It is time for Matt Maley. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Matt, happy Monday. First of all, I've been doing this with all of the guests that I've brought on that I haven't seen since 4th of July. Would you mind giving me a finger check so I can make sure you still have all 10?
Still got all 10.
Hey, there's another person that didn't lose a finger due to 4th of July. That's great. Matt, I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend.
Hey, I mean, come on now. Red Sox won 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. I mean, it's got to be a good weekend, right?
Look, I was trying to stay away from the Red Sox Yankees thing, but if you want to go full brunt into it, that's fine with me. I'm never going to turn that down.
Like 10 games behind the Yankees, so I shouldn't be saying anything. But,
hey, you got to take your victories when they come. Matt, I'm gonna set you up here a little bit differently this week. Speaking of taking your victories, I think it's time that we kind of talk about some of the week that your traders in your program have had. Last week, I know that you were closing stuff like TLT June put for 220%. You had another TLT June put. You had IWM puts. You had an SQQ put. Just massive amounts of winning going on here. What are you seeing that's allowing you to do that, and what are you seeing going forward here?
Well, it's this is in the Benzinga chat room here, and if you're interested in it, just give a shout out to contact Rodrigo. He'll set you up real nicely. But anyway, the shameful plug there. But But what we're seeing right now is just this volatility in the marketplace and uncertainty. It's kind of weird because, of course, last week the market rallied nicely but on incredibly low volume. So it was a little bit of a pause there. But what we have so many things going on right now that are going to impact these markets, and you just see that we see dislocations popping up all the time when things get out of place on a short-term basis, whether it be the bond market getting overbought or oversold, going into a key, we call it the economic report, and then of course, when you get the IWM, where it's been trading, it's been doing nothing for a while inside a relatively tight range. Whenever it gets to the upper portion or the lower portion of those ranges, it presents great opportunities in the options market. So this is something we've been taking advantage of for basically all year, and we continue to do that to just see when these whether it be individual stocks or other asset classes get out of line with what they've been seeing in recent trading.
Okay. Given this week, you had talked about, a report coming here this week. What are you waiting for the most? Is it, Fed? Is it a data print? Is it earnings? I know we start with the bank earnings here later in the week. What are you waiting for this week the most?
I'm really waiting for the earnings this week. First of all, on the banks, as you mentioned, to start off with the banks. Although earnings season obviously really won't get going in a big way until the following week and the next few weeks. But the thing about what's going on with earnings, we have to have, well, first of all, the bank stocks. You look at the KBE bank ETF. I mean, this thing is formed an ascending triangle pattern. And, so if it can break out to the upside, that's going to be bullish. But it's very important to the overall market because remember, I mean, the bank stocks, the KBE is actually down year to date, with the S&P up almost 17%. So it's been lagging, but it hasn't been going down. So it's one thing for the S&P to rally while the bank stocks are doing nothing. If the bank stocks start to roll over for some reason, and it's kind of weird how the bank stocks tend to act poorly coming out of earnings season, even when their earnings are pretty good. Kind of a strange phenomenon, but that is what happens. So if those bank stocks start to decline, it's going to be a lot harder for the stock market to rally in the face of a declining bank group rather than a sideways one. But then when you again just talking about the overall earnings season, and we've talked about this in the past, it's like you go start from the beginning of 2023. And the stock market's up, or the S&P is up 45%, okay, in the last 18 months. Earnings, I mean, if you include 2023 earnings, which were flat, and this year's earnings, which are predicted to be up 11%, you've got a 45% rally in the S&P 500 on just 11% earnings gains, okay, over the last 18 months. We're going to have to see these earnings not just be better than expected, but their forecast, the earnings guidance is going to have to be much, much better. So I really think the earnings issue is going to be a very big one as we move through the month of July.
Okay, now on that same note with earnings, if you start to see some of these stalwarts maybe crack or unable to meet that high bar, do you think that kind of changes things here? I know we kind of talk about summer trading being a little bit different. It often gets nicknamed the summer doldrums, things of that nature. But do you expect maybe kind of a crack or a change in overall market sentiment if these earnings don't come in at or above estimates?
I definitely think so because, again, we have these earnings coming out. We also have what, and you just mentioned what's going on with the Fed. We get the CPI, PPI numbers this week. What is that going to cause the Fed to get more dovish or more hawkish? And of course, the presidential election situation. What's going on there? Yeah. We have, like you say, we usually fall into summer doldrums. I don't think we get them at all this year. We have a lot of uncertainty. And uncertainty is usually negative for the markets. Right now, it hasn't been negative at all. But it's going to be hard for it to last much longer, especially if those earnings don't beat. So be careful about how the things go. I guess my point is, I think investors need to stay very, very nimble and active because we're not going to get those summer doldrums this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And there has been no doldrums going on in your chat room. That is for sure. By the way, I also posted a link to that. We're all about shameless plugs here, Matt. No problem. And look, when things are going well and you're winning, that's when you kind of want to jump on the train. Okay, I'll get you out of here on this for the week. Are there any individual names or any kind of new issues or themes that you're seeing out there that you're either starting to investigate or maybe even trading?
Well, the one thing I'm looking at right now is interesting. In the chat room, somebody was asking me today about Apple, and they own some Apple puts, and saying what do you think here? And it's the stock was starting, is getting overbought on a short term basis, and so I'm a little concerned about it. And the thing that gets me today is that you see the stock coming down a little bit, even though Taiwan Semiconductor is flying high with some talk about their lower supply of their chips. And then NVIDIA's bounced back as well, and yet Apple's can't seem to get out of its own way. Now, that's not saying that there's anything wrong with Apple fundamentally, but it does seem to me that it's getting overbought here, and you really don't get much support if the thing comes down further until you get to the 120 level. Not that that's a major decline between here and there, but keep a close eye on Apple Computer and the whole tech sector and see if it can continue to hold up. I mean, I know people are tired of hearing about tech, but a lot of names are overbought. A lot of names. I mean, you got Microsoft now trading at 40 times forward earnings. Okay, that's expensive. If we get any kind of a pullback in this group, the rest of the market is going to come down with it. Because remember, if it's one thing to have these tech stocks go up or down, and their correlations haven't been very strong in the last couple of weeks. But they've been very strong overall for the last year or two, right? If they start to be highly correlated and they start to go down, the indexes are going to go down because they're such big weightings, over 30% in the S&P, over 50% in the NASDAQ. If those big indexes go down, people aren't going to start rotating into other groups. If they see the index down 4, 5, 6, 8%, suddenly they're like, I'm rotating into cash, which pays you 5%. And that's going to be something to be very careful about. So, I don't want to get too worked up. The market's acted very, very well this year, but it's just got a lot of uncertainty out there. And so I think people need to stay very nimble and very careful about assuming that this rally is going to continue here on the near term.
Yeah, I think that's spot on here. By the way, Apple here, that 220 area that you just mentioned here, very, very clear breakout spot. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. That old resistance is now new support. Exactly.
Indeed. Matt, one last thing here, just real quick. Have you ever seen concentration like this in such few names over the course of your career?
No, and we've certainly seen at times where markets were concentrated to a certain degree, but nothing like this. And it can last. There's no way to know when it will end. But when it does, it's the sign of an unhealthy market, because it tells you that that investors are not confident enough in the overall economy to spread their investment out. These companies are doing well, but now they're getting expensive. It's very similar to what we saw in 2000, in 1999, 2000, but only even more concentrated. It's not as excessive as it was then, but it's still more concentrated. So we need to be very careful.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff here, Matt. Thanks very much for joining us. I tell you what, please stay on fire in your chat room. Again, links in the chat for anyone that's interested in that. Matt, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you next week. All right.
Sounds great, Ryan. Thanks.
No problem. Take care. That is Matt Maley again, folks. He is absolutely awesome. Really, really good handle on the market, and his chat room is literally printing. So go ahead and check that out. Okay, Zade, while I was talking to Matt, you have anything interesting here that's going on that you want to share with the group?
Still waiting on Amazon. It kind of almost gave me a heart attack as it was creeping on back up, and I was like, come on, I can't lose twice on you. But now it's coming back to the downside. So we're barely green on this trade. Obviously still can get stopped out, but my target, I'm holding firm at 199 is where I want this to be. Call it 199.12 is where I'll start getting out, and maybe, see if we can go on a crack low a day. But I want to get out at 199.12. Stop loss for me is going to be 260 cents on this one. If I am wrong, I'll lose 20%. If I'm right, I'll gain about 20%.
Okay. Really good. Real quick here, just want to check in on a couple of things that we were talking about earlier. DJAF, you got to be dancing on your table here this morning. ANVS, we talked about this one here. This actually popped through its highs, took the next leg up on volume, actually the highest stick of the day. Also doing a pretty good job here flagging. We'll see if this can break above this 445. There's a little bit of size there. Things a little bit spread out here, but ANVS, great call here from our chat. Jay's Life, I know that you're still on Corning. That's ticker GLW. This also moved higher than its intraday high. This a little bit slower of a trader, but looking really good here on this call, on this breakout. That one continuing here as well. Thanks for all the kind stuff you guys are saying about Matt. Dude, like when I'm reviewing some of those trades and I'm like, oh my God, everything he's closing here is over 200%. Pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff right there. Okay. Let's see what else here is moving around. And you guys are talking about VRPX. That's going to be one of those penny stocks. That is curling and moving through its VWAP, although I'll stay away from this. Nikola post its reverse split here, going for $11. I don't even know when the last time I thought I would say that is going to be.
I'm still trying to understand the psychological aspect to a reverse split. Like, I guess just because the shares get gobbled up, so therefore the supply is shortened. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, look, all of the experienced traders that I've talked about with reverse splits over the course of the years has really kind of boiled it down simply. If a company is reverse splitting, it's not doing well. If it's splitting, it's doing well.
Right.
And I just try and think about that. Now, we have noticed a pattern here that recent reverse splits sometimes get juice for a couple of days, but it's never long lived. And I mean, look, we've covered Nikola ad nauseum here.
You also got a gap to close. I'm just saying at 14.22.
That's the thing. The charts are like, hey, look at me. I've got this juicy little setup here.
Who knows if that gap will be closed, but I'm just saying. If you crack above $13, you've got a gap to close. Not all gaps get filled, but I'm just saying. Tesla.
And this clicking all over the place here. Just minimized my Twitter feed.
Yeah, speaking of which, let me check on something here. Check out QBTS. All right. QBTS, not a stock that I'm familiar with.
Quantum computing name, D-Wave Quantum.
Yeah,
BTS?
you're above a buck. You've had some previous resistance around this 124, and you're right there at the moment. I don't have a trade for you, unfortunately, but I would say if it wants to come back and maybe test the dollar, that's way too far out. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a trade for you. I would just be making something up.
Tom's asking, what is the short percentage here? Actually, don't have it here. Post that split. Haven't got a new reading since then. I'm curious on that myself. I'll poke the news desk here to update that real fast. Actually, let's see if we're even due for one here.
Yeah, Jay Rice, that aspect, I know that they do it because they have to maintain on the exchange. In order to do that, they have to have a dollar. That aspect, I know. I more so meant, why does it pop 20% outside of just the fact that the supply has shortened, you know? And if that's the only aspect of it, then cool. But if there's more, I'd love to kind of know. Unless it's just, hey, pump, trading rooms, pump it. And that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're looking for anything that's going to cause the stock to move differently. And then, if you're part of a community and then you're bringing more eyeballs to it, yeah, that whole thing there. Look, I mean, I know we've had some success trading some of those setups here. Honestly, I've been kind of pulling back from those. Would rather do something with a little bit more oomph under it, if you will.
Amen to that. This Amazon trade, I'm going to go ahead and get out for another 30-cent loss. So total I've lost about 60 cents on the Amazon trade. Cracked above 200. It also went red to green. I'm going to get out because if it does crack below, I can get back in. No one's going to stop me in doing so, but I also don't want to risk it going to the upside. So for now, I'm out. I'm 0 for 2 on Amazon. Still green on the day thanks to us trading, futures, if you will, but on the stock and option side, I'm on the wrong screen. But unfortunately, on the options and stock side, we are red. Red. By the way, little tease. Probably shouldn't do this because lawyers haven't approved it. But that trading competition that we mentioned, It's the prize pool total, because it's going to be like 3 different competitions with each one being a month long, and the prize pool is like $30,000 and then some. So I think it's like 34,000 or something like that.
Wow.
So each month the prize pool goes up and up and up. So that'll be fun, and you also get a chance to win a tour to the NYSC. So something to look forward to. And one of the winners would also get a lifetime subscription to Benzinga Pro.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're really making some traders here with that competition.
Yeah,
really good prizes on that.
Which is why
Robert has a question here. How do you enter?
We're waiting for the lawyers. We've been kind of teasing this has been in the works for almost 3-4 months now, where we were like, hey, we had this idea. Then we found a broker to team up with, and they loved it. Then, we had to get all the money aspect of it figured out. Then we had to get the lawyers involved. So we're close. We're close. Trust me. The teams behind the scene is ready to go with graphics, video, my pretty face, everything. Just hang tight. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Nice.
Okay.
I love it.
I was going to say it's you had kind of a wry smile on your face when you said waiting for the lawyers for the 5th time. So I'd imagine you're going to be happy when this segment is behind us.
Dude, because there's a landing page that we are just ready to market via newsletters, via video. I have a show that is waiting to start, but I can't until the lawyers say green light. But yeah. Ryan, I did just go ahead and get a ping that I need to produce Trader Bacon at 11. So I think at 10:50, I'll need to sub out if you're good for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will run us through the finish line on the last 10 minutes there.
You know what? Do me a favor, guys. Sorry. Do me a favor. If you're interested in the trading competition, as soon as it goes live, I will send you the link. So email me at zunade@benzinga.com and just have the subject line be trading comp, right? Just trading comp. That's all it needs to be. And then I will send you the direct link as soon as we go live. Can non-US traders join? My understanding, and again, this is where I get in trouble with the lawyers. My understanding is that you can join the competition, but unfortunately you may not be eligible to win the prizes just because of competition law in the countries that we're working in. Again, lawyers. That's all I got to say. And
well, I would say this, Zade, just to kind of cover all of the bases here. I would say some of the terms are obviously going to be subject to change until we hear from them. Yep. Shout out to you, though. Clearly, what you're trying to do is provide our community with as much information as possible. So, folks, please understand that things may change over that course of time. And
I already just got 3 emails from people. So again, please send them. I'm always love it. Zunade@benzinga.com. Just say trading comp. As soon as we go live, I will send it to you. All right. Amazon, again, trying to see if it wants to stay green or if it's going to go red again. Just kind of chopping at the moment, around $200. Time to clean house. Yeah, and then with the competition, you can trade stocks or options. So you can trade whatever you would like in that aspect of it. All right, let's see. We got that. Let's see if there's anything else.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing the same thing.
No, you're good. Yeah, our good old Slacks.
It's crazy. I'll wait until you're done and we can break each other.
All right, cool. Matter of fact, yeah, if you want, you can take a break, do whatever you got to do.
No, I'm not trying to jump. I just want to answer. I just want to.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not
you're
going
good.
anywhere. I just want to.
So let's take a look around the horn. Amazon, obviously, that one's still waiting to see what it wants to do. Oh, come on now. I'll tell you what. If Tesla wants to come, no, I really want. Man, if Tesla decides to come back to like the 250 50s, I would be interested in getting some calls because look at that third 15-minute bar, just straight up most volume of the day. Typically, you don't see that. Typically, you can see it's the first 15 minutes and then it just kind of goes down. First 15 minutes and then it just kind of goes down. Volume wise. Let me actually set my alarm so I don't miss it.
NNE continuing to trade up. I know some of you were looking at that earlier. Zap, which was the kind of the wild one of the day here, the pop and drop. It's now just kind of sitting where it was at. It's not really doing a whole lot of anything. Flagging there after some of that action early on. Let's see what else is the chat going through here. VRPX, Jonathan Cooper. That's that penny stock, isn't it? It's no longer a penny stock. How about that as we bust above $1? If we get 3 million volume on that 1 minute, that will match earlier. And it looks like the volume sticks are pretty high. This is now pulling after that 120 high there. How about that?
How are people trading Zap?
What? How are they?
Yeah. What trade are they seeing here? It's like 2 pennies.
No, ZAPP, not ZAP.
Oh, Jay Summers, I blame you for this one.
Zade, first day back, blaming the chat. Rich move.
Well, it's the first thing I saw. I saw Zap, and I was like, it's a 10-cent move for the past 30 minutes.
Crow here mentioning, sorry, Zade. Crow here mentioning ticker MYO. This did pop off the open, consolidating here. This actually might break higher here. I would say if this loses the VWAP, you're probably not going to have that break higher unless it's a dip and rip like from earlier. Crow, decent call here. Sorry, Zade, I didn't mean to run you over there.
You're good. Zap with a double P. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just kind of consolidating here in terms of, back and forth. But that's, to me, means, hey, set some alerts so that as soon as it goes one way or the other, you know where to be. Speaking of which, let's see if Amazon is still flirting with that line. Yes, it is. $200. It doesn't know what to do.
This is the worst, Zade. Honestly, sometimes I get into a trade exactly like you're in. Like I have a thesis.
Yeah.
The thesis makes sense to me. Maybe I even have other people support my thesis, and then the stock just goes nowhere. It's like if I'm gonna be wrong, but let me get out of it and focus my energy somewhere else. You just sitting around doing nothing helps nobody.
I agree. Just you know what I would love to do is just hit a button and it just tells me, hey, your trade made money, and it didn't because it knows what's going to happen in the future. I'm okay losing. Just it's the time.
You want an app or a plugin that predicts the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not asking for a lot.
No, you're really not. That's fairly modest.
I'm not asking for the lottery. I'm just asking to what's what. That's all. All right, let's see what other trades.
Zade.
See, man, that resistance acting beautiful.
How's Siri going? You guys were talking about Siri earlier. Man. So I know this is also a Zach name, right? We covered that last week. I have no position in this name. We pulled here out of the open. We're actually lower than we were on Friday. Rough action. What's the volume like on this though? Probably not even. Doesn't look crazy here. Volume 16 million versus 17 million versus 36 million average. As far through the day, that might just kind of be an average day for Siri. Stopped out on Siri a moment ago. Okay, so you were looking for that day trade for that to move higher here.
I think they slapped. So as in they got in?
Slapped Siri a moment ago. Okay. Yeah, that looked like stopped to me. Excuse me.
That's all right. You and Jay, no worries. Or Jay Summers, rather. It's all good. No worries.
Target after that initial pop, that's really kind of come back into flat. GLW, how's that Corning data center play looking like this is going to continue? This is kind of a slow mover here on GLW. This moving up, I think, what do we have? 45. What was the spot that we had on that, Jay's life? GLW. What was that upside spot? I'm grabbing it here from my daily chart. Just give me a sec. 43.5. So another $1.50 from where we're at seems to be a resistance area for this. costs dip, gonna gamble. Tony, you looking like you're playing costs for a reversal of this down move? Is that what you mean by playing a gamble? This has really kind of slowed down since that impulse move. Really hasn't given us much as terms of entry.
Yeah, G6. I know that's why I tell people be careful, be mindful, but at the same time, I've got money ready to go. By the way, Tesla now coming down. Okay, Tesla. Okay, Tesla, you're gonna make me get in again. Or I guess I haven't gone into Tesla today, but come on, Tesla. Damn, these options are so pricey. I forgot how it works with this ticker. Ugh. All right, I'm just going to get 2 contracts. That's all I got on Tesla. What's my fill here? I got the 250 calls expiring this week. My fill is... Damn, how am I? Oh, never mind. That was a different... My fill is 717. I was like, how am I down already $60? But that's
I was going to say, I was a bit confused there myself, Zade.
Yeah, no, it's the hood trade that I'm down on. $60 for the day. Still up 200 overall, but down 60 on the day. 717 is my fill price on the Tesla 250 calls expiring July 12th. What are we wanting and why are we in this trade? Well, 250 to me, you can see resistance, 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 resistance. Popped above. I'm wanting that resistance to be support. Now, if it does go ahead and crack this area here, I will go ahead and get out. But for now, I would love for it to come back and test the highs, and then maybe I'll swing some. Who knows? Let's see. So, you know, sometimes people say that set your entries where your stop losses are. I feel like that's literally what just happened because I named my stop loss, which is around the 248s. And then Jay said, no. That's where I would enter. Fair enough, sir.
When I notice that happening, Zade, that's one of the telltale signs that I'm just off. And like if I notice that I have several trades where I'm getting stopped out and that happens to be the bottom and I actually should have added there, I just dial it back and reassess. Chat's actually pretty good at keeping me honest on that too. Which is, I'll be honest, I think the biggest thing that's helped with is not compounding my problem later in the day. I will sometimes get frustrated. You take a loss right around the open, you get frustrated that your first trade was a crappy one, kind of playing from behind. Totally get it. But the bigger thing there is not compounding the problem further on down the line. This chat has been great about that.
Amen. Jay, I am curious why 450, why 247, excuse me, on Tesla, because the only thing I see is like the pre-market low area where it bounced 2 times, but obviously we cracked that level and we ate it right back up. But I'm curious, why do you have it at 247 for your entry area? And we'll see how Tesla behaves here. Awesome. Got a few more emails for the trading comp, so this is good. I am putting you guys in a folder of mine, so we will be good.
Into a folder.
That sounds creepy, I know.
I was just like, what else could that mean? That doesn't sound great. So things have dried up here, at least on some of these smaller names. Did want to check on SMCI. So that initial move out of the gate, that was it. You know, I might start looking at SMCI on a regular basis and seeing if I can ascertain what type of momentum it has, like right out of the gate. There seems to be action right out of the gate in one direction every day. And I'm wondering if we can maybe kind of capture that. Elon saying, hang on real quick. Jeff, let me give you my email address here real quick.
I can type it for you. I got it.
Okay, you're already doing. Look how, man, Zade types faster than me. That's what we just came across. Really quickly here, Elon saying, hi, Ryan and Zade. Looks like markets no mojo today, just consolidating. When the market at the high and inflation data coming by this week. Coming by the end of this week. So we actually just talked with Matt about some of the data there. CPI, we got Powell, and then earnings at the end of the week here. I would agree with you. You know, the market did set new all-time highs here. I kind of want to see where we close, but it doesn't really seem like it has any of that upside momentum. We've kind of come back in here. Even the Qs kind of trading sideways here today. I don't really necessarily feel like it has mojo either today, but nonetheless, I still want to observe where some of those levels are.
Someone asked a question, Gladly's, about, hey, you've got expiration for this week when there's so much data coming out. How can you be so gutsy? That's a great question. So I mentioned I got 2 contracts. One, I would 100% close if we got to, like, say, the 252 area or so, right? So just a couple of bucks is what I'm looking for, because my stop loss is a couple of bucks down. I want my gains to be at least 1-to-1. So that's when I would get out of one contract. The second one I would get out at high day area, or I would go ahead and sell a call option above it, maybe the 255 or so that I'm hedged very nicely. That's the strategy. I typically do not swing and gamble or anything like that when it comes to options anymore. I did maybe 3 years back. But you know, your boy's in his 30s now, so we can't afford to do that anymore.
Way to make me feel old.
Have you hit 40s? Are you in
yeah.
the 40s? Oh, okay. Well, you know, I need to drink what you're drinking.
That's right, you do.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
Is it that Fiji water?
No, it's just Hinkley Springs water. But you were close. Water is the life force, Zade. That'll do it. Also, protect yourself from the sun. Don't use tanning beds.
That's what I'm gonna say. When people are like, "Hey, man, you need to go out on a Saturday night," it's like, no. I need to look young. So I will not do that. By the way, my Tesla calls are up 6%, which I forgot how expensive these are. That means I'm up $100 on the trade. Am I going to take it? Probably not. I'm going to wait till I got to my target at 252s, which means I get to set an alert. There's my alert. Sunscreen, very important. Yeah, I need to get on. You know what? I need, matter of fact, since you guys already have my email address, for the men that are watching and women who may have some insights into this category as well, if you guys have a good cream for like eye bags, you know, face stuff, whatever, please send it to me. I desperately need something for my nighttime routine, because sometimes I do these interviews and I'm like, my boy, you look tired of life, you know?
Can't help you there. I would help you. Okay, Smoke Tuna saying, I had Fiji water in Fiji. This begs the most obvious question. Is it better in Fiji? Is Fiji water better in Fiji? Is it different? Is the rest of us getting screwed? How was that experience, Tuna?
Are French fries really that great in France? Sleep is great for that. Yeah, I know, but sleep is tough, man.
The French do really well in the kitchen, so I'm not gonna badmouth that. IVP, this has been nothing here today. That continuing to move lower in IVP.
You've got Zapticker ZAPP still in that range. Hasn't really cracked above 8. Hasn't broken down below 6. So nothing really happening there.
Tesla trying to bounce after that pull. Bitcoin at 55.5 on the futures chart. Bitcoin big pull here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we're going to get ready to take one. There's my trigger. You see Tesla is now crossing what I wanted it to cross. Let me go ahead and see if I can sell one. All right, I did go ahead and sell one, and the alert came through that I sold it at 785. You guys probably can't see it, but there is my E-Trade alert that I went ahead and sold one contract at 785, which means we got in at 717. Wait, don't see this math I could have done in my head quicker than me trying to use this calculator. 68 cents per contract. Yoo-hoo! That kind of helps make up for the loss that I had on Amazon. And now I will wait. I will set a stop loss here at around break. I'll move up my stop loss by maybe $1. And now the next target for me is about this 253 area or so.
Nice job on that Tesla bounce there. By the way, Nicola moving to highs here, just in case you're trading that one as well. Root, what's going on? Oh, Crow, here we go with Root again. Through that 50-day. I can't wait till I know 13's losing his power or doesn't have power right now, but I hope he sees Root here. We'll talk about that again. We suspected that this would make another run.
Cold compress for the eye bags. Well, so my friend, who is a gorgeous individual, she every morning, I should mention that she doesn't talk to me anymore, but when we were friends,
that escalated quickly. Oh my goodness. My friend who's gorgeous also doesn't talk to me. Lol. Okay. I'm doing my best to follow you here. I will stop taking us off the rails, though.
Every morning, and I'm gonna take a look at tickers that are coming in the chat too, I promise. But every morning she would put ice all over her face, like, you know, just kind of, what's it called, like ice mask, ice something. I don't know, dude. And that's maybe what I need to do. I just need to get some ice on my face. Anyway, that's all I have.
Also, a really, really good tip on days where it's just hot, right? Fresh little ice water. I mean, we got some really good advice going on here today.
This AVTE, by the way, someone mentioned in the chat. So you can see how you had resistance, you popped up. I think you have a decent shot. I would probably say if you wanted to get in for just easy math, 500 shares. I think you can get in 500 shares here, 500 shares at 178 or so. The stop loss would be 172. So let's kind of draw this out. If I were to take this, which again, I am not, I am just talking about if I were to take this trade, let's just say right here, I call it 180. All right. If I were to take the trade at 180, my stop loss, I need to move this a little bit here. 180. My stop loss would be about 171, which means if I want this to be a 1-to-1 trade, 189s would be my first target on this one, which is perfect because it's right below this wick here on the 190s. So that's the way that I would play this one if I was getting into the trade. I am not getting into the trade right now.
Bitcoin trying to bounce as we speak. Real quickly here, this one I definitely want to cover, and this is a discussion. Zade, I'd love to get your opinion on this one too. Gladys mentioning that CMG is under 60 here. Okay, so let me go to that real quick.
That's Chipotle? It is.
That is Chipotle. All right, this is after the split, obviously. Now, here's what we want to take a look at. First of all, we are right there at about the 100-day moving average. We took out the 50-day moving average. In fact, we didn't even really get any support there. We did try to bounce and recapture it. We were unable to do that on the first day. Down we go. Now, the last time that this stock came into the 100-day, let's see, we crossed it there. Last time we came into the 100-day, we bounced, and it lasted for a long time. But we had a whole bunch of other moving averages converging there. We also gapped down to the 100-day in July, literally last year. We were unable to get above it. Took a couple of months. Once we did, the run was on. So my question here to the group, what are the ad spots here at Chipotle? Anyone trying this at the 100-day moving average at about 59.5 here on Chipotle? I do like this. I want to own this longer. I like the product, maybe 57. Ultimately, what I'd really like to see is a hold of the 200-day, maybe even a dip beneath it and a recapture. That might be pretty sweet too. But I'm curious to know what the group thinks here on Chipotle long term. And this is more than just a day trade. We're talking about a potential swing trade here. Would love to know what you think. Gene says, "Forget your conversation. I'm in it already."
There you go.
To see that.
I love it.
You love to see that.
Chipotle is part of now my weight loss routine, right? So I go to Chipotle. Here's my order, right? Just this isn't TikTok. I'm going to tell you my order on Chipotle. Bowl to go, brown rice, no beans, El Pastor chicken. Then they go ahead and scoop it, and I say make it a double. That way they don't scam me on the first one. So I wait till they complete the first scoop, and then I say make it a double. Corn, hot salsa on the side. I pay $13.63 with taxes.
Okay.
That's the order.
Okay. I already forgot it because there's a lot of moving parts in that order.
You know, we're trying to clip our content. I feel like this is one of them. And by the way, I was wrong. Sorry. 13. Wait, is this going to tell people where I live? Yeah, I think it might. Whatever. $13.52. That's how much it costs me every single time. And I get 2 meals out of it. I eat half at lunch. I eat half at 4 o'clock, and then I get another one at 8 o'clock, and that's it.
So you do Chipotle multiple times a day. That to me sounds like a buy catalyst right there.
Yeah, the revenue increased by 100,000 this past
was out
week.
here
I don't know
doing
why.
work last quarter, boys. Let's go.
Dude, smoked tuna. I went to a family gathering yesterday, and man, we had Indian food, obviously, and it was delicious. They shared stories from, there was a bunch of elderly folks because we had family in town. And I've got a funny story to tell. As a matter of fact, we got about 9 minutes, Ryan, before you need to fully take over. Did you want to take a break, or you're
No, I'm good.
All right, cool.
Nope, I'm all right.
Go easy on the cheese.
Now that you're offering it,
yeah, there you go. By the way, this Tesla trade again. We've been making money on it. I'm gonna scoot to the left a little bit so you can see my face. Man, should I just take it or wait for this? Let's see, chat. Let's see how much we're up. You know what? We're up $125 on the trade. I'm gonna go ahead and close out of it. Give me one moment. Un momento. While I close this trade out. Boom. Closed it. E-trade. What was my fill? All right, there you go. So matter of fact here. Maybe you guys can see everything. I'll show you this one first. So the second trade, close it out at 835. 835. Close it on E-Trade. And if you can see everything that I mentioned, I bought the first test. I bought 2 Tesla contracts at 717. Sold the first one at 785. Sold the third one at 835. Let's go. Come on, baby. Making money out here. What's up?
Oh, I was going to put your screen up. There you go.
Oh, well, that would have been nice. Look at that. Anyway.
There you go. Chipotle, by the way, that's what we took off. Chipotle is still holding 60. See if it breaks down from there.
You think Chipotle will be a sponsor? I don't think so.
That would be incredible because I would join the Zade program of having multiple burritos per day if that were the case. Tom here, real quick. I appreciate this. Tom saying my real job, as if trading isn't a real job, lol, Tom. My real job is a sports nutritionist and I help my client with burritos. Go easy on the cheese and it's great. So I've actually heard this a lot. Like you can actually create burritos with lean meat and then load up the vegetables and you can get a lot of complete meals with, not a whole lot of bad stuff in there. Ultimately, it comes on the cleanliness of the ingredients. And I know Chipotle is better than that.
Yeah.
Is better on that than most.
100%. What was I going to say? I thankfully I'm, lactose intolerant, so I don't really get cheese, but then I still actually just had large pizza last week. So there's that. People tell me just take Lactaid, but sometimes I don't know what some pills will do to my body. And I don't know, man. I always worry about side effects. I just don't trust things.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of skepticism is probably a healthy thing, Zade. By the way, Lucid, we talked about earlier, that popped earlier. Here, let me throw this up real quick. That popped earlier, dropped. That drop was bought. Yeah. And look, this stock, we've talked about this a lot. This stock is really, really tough. I love the car. I saw another one this weekend. Car is absolutely gorgeous, but the stock, my God, it is hard to own.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The stock
is not know it was this awful. For the folks that may want to look at getting long on this one, I think you got to wait till a crack of 5. Yeah, you got support there, which cracked and hit resistance. I think 530 is when you may want to consider going long. But if you are going to go long here, then God bless your soul, but maybe $1 risk. But like, who knows what news could come out and this could just tank, Just a heads up. What happened to Rivian? Didn't they have Volkswagen or somebody give them a bunch of money?
Yeah, they did. Now, Jay Rice, shout out Jay Rice.
Isn't that 15? Whoa, no, this thing was at like 25 when the news came out.
No, it was lower. It popped big. It was 18. Look, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. So here's the thing on that. We talked about that. We actually covered that the morning that was fresh. Jay Rice had reminded us that they did this with XPEV. Now, interestingly enough, pull up XPEV real quick, Zade, because XPEV was 15 when they announced that financing, and look where it's at now. It was cut in half from that. So that piece of news, not necessarily the ultimate savior here. Rivian still loses $1 billion a quarter.
That's insane. I wonder where that news was, because you had a nice pop here on July 26th of last year. You had a beautiful pop, highest volume that I can see in 2023. That's 2022, so I'm not counting that. But yikes to the downside. Isn't there another one? Oh, a Neo.
They didn't get an investment from Volkswagen.
No. Sorry, I just meant another car making situation. Breakify might have me interested, so I'm gonna set an alert there. That's when it was last July. Okay, okay. Yeah, there you go. And so, as a matter of fact, it was in the 20s then. Wow, that's insane. All right, let's go back to Tesla. I'm out. I don't have any contracts anymore. But who asked that question? I think it was Gladley's had asked.
Gladys.
This isn't the
Gladys.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't born here, so my apologies for completely butchering that the last 7 times I've called out your name.
That's just amazing that you can just instantly make me feel bad for trying to show respect to Gladys by pronouncing her name correctly. That is a masterful job on your head. I guess I should make sure. Am I getting the name right? I don't
Gladys, let us know if you're still hanging out. Let us know. But my point was, Gladys had brought up, hey, you're buying contracts in Tesla, which is a volatile stock in terms of how much it can move. weeklies with so much data coming out this week. And I had mentioned, well, I'm getting out today. Like, I'm not really holding this whatsoever. And I got my, okay, so there you go. You got it. Well, she was kind enough to not even correct me. But anyway, so that's why I did those trades. It's just because I wanted to get out today. I wasn't waiting till tomorrow. I wasn't going to swing these. I was going to be right today. I was going to be wrong today. And thankfully I was right, and all is good with the world. What's up?
I play music for my bird when I move him into a different room for this show. And when the playlist runs out, for whatever reason, someone created a Spotify track that is nothing but a beeping alarm. And this plays all the time randomly when the playlist runs out. And I freak out like something is wrong or about to explode. And so that's what's up. That's what's up.
There was
so
TikTok
we did not, thankfully, we did not offend.
Yeah, you got it.
We did not offend our viewer here. We got it correctly. Okay, we can move on from that.
Thanks to you. Yeah. Definitely would have lost a viewer if I kept going with, Gladys. Whatever I pronounced incorrectly.
It doesn't, I don't even remember.
It wasn't good.
I'm looking too. I'm looking to see if there's anything new on the relative volume. ANVS, which we kind of talked about, that pullback to the VWAP, but it's just hanging out there. How did TSM do? We checked a lot on Nvidia, Apple, and SMCI. TSM kind of coming in a little bit more. SMCI, I tell you, was just that morning push. That was the good move there. Nvidia doing the same thing. Apple, the inverse of that. Spotify, nothing going on there. Safety shot, nothing going on there. Sorry, I'm just rolling through some stuff here. AMC, Jay Wild. Oh my gosh. I did not even realize AMC ramping here. There wasn't any news flow on this, was there, Jay? Yeah, yes, there was this morning. More than 4 million. Oh, more than 4 million U.S. moviegoers spent part of their extended holiday weekend at AMC theaters. Busiest domestic Wednesday through Sunday period of 2024 with 4.2 million moviegoers. Despicable Me 4 merchandise drives the highest revenue program of the year. Okay, so looks like that news being digested here. AMC higher. We actually just came off the biggest volume print of the day. I still don't like this one long term. Looks like more people are going back to the movies, at least this last weekend. Is GME moving? That would be my first follow-up question.
Speaking of alarm, that's my alarm to go. And yeah, I actually almost went to and I mentioned this earlier, I kind of was stressed out this weekend. I was like, I'm going to do something kind of relaxing, which I don't know if this was a relaxing thing or not, but I almost went to watch Bad Boys or Despicable 4 in the movie theaters, but I also haven't seen the first 3. So then I didn't do any of it, but
well,
anyway,
it's an animated thing with Minions. I mean, do you really need to see the first 3, or can you kind of read a primer on it? I don't know.
Read the Cliff Notes.
I mean, I honestly, I'm actually not even making a joke. I know out of ignorance. I mean, Comp SRX1, it's a good movie. I was surprised. It's funny. You know what? Shout out. When movies surprise you that you have less than positive feelings on, that is always a good day.
Yeah. I also didn't know how I wanted to walk in by myself with popcorn and a large Coke being a 34-year-old man. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I didn't really care about that. But I do got to get ready for Trader Bacon. Don't forget, it's going to be my man Gates with his special guest at 11 o'clock. Ryan, it's all you. What a great time I had today. Appreciate you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'll say this. I was a little bit nervous. I woke up this morning, heard 13 wasn't going to be here. A little bit nervous about that, although he swears him and his family are in good shape. Good. So I really appreciate you jumping on here. Great trade early too, Zade. I mean, we should do it more often.
You bet. Yeah, let me know tomorrow if he's not able to make it, whatever it is. We'll contact each other via Slack.
Okay, awesome. Right. And again, big time shout out for you working on those ads. I know people in the chat.
Absolutely. Anytime you provide feedback. Folks. Yeah, anytime you provide feedback in the chat, Ryan and I screenshot, add it to our document so we can present it to leadership, because we want to make sure we make this a great viewing experience. Just hang tight with us. We've already changed it from 10 minutes to every 30 minutes. We'll continue working on it. Appreciate you guys. Ryan, I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
11
sounds
o'clock.
good.
You can transition. You can end the stream.
Peace. We'll do it. We're going to run it through the finish line here. We still have 9 more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and run through some of these that's going on here. DJF says, up, but the consumer is weak. Haha. Consumer, we'll see where this goes. The consumer is showing some signs of weakness. The follow-up question that I would have for that was going to a movie an alternative to something else. Tough to say from the data. But that would be what I would. Are people downgrading in their weekend or holiday experience by doing things cheaper? That would kind of go along with that as well. Still saying we're going to be like the Fed, though. We're going to be data dependent, right? We're going to be data dependent. We're gonna ride the both sides of the fence there. All right, folks. With the remaining 8 minutes here, what are you folks seeing? Got to be honest. Another data point here showing me that swing trading is the way, especially in these market conditions. Swing trade account rocking here today. Day trade account just a little bit red after the 2 trades. Heat will bring people to the movies. Comp, when I was a kid, boy, oh boy, that was the thing. Get to a cool, dark movie theater in the summer. That was absolutely it. Have not done that in over a decade. Robert mentioning SMCI, caught a nice SMCI scalp. Hey, Robert, great job. We were just talking about this, about how the move here was right around the open. Nice little catch back to the VWAP here. I would imagine you booked some of those gains. Maybe we get another move here if we break through the VWAP. The one thing I'd like to see to correlate with that would be volume. We haven't seen volume really anywhere here in this market as we're having another summer day here, but really good stuff there. Robert, I'd ask you, what was the impetus to maybe kind of buy the pullback here? What was the level? How did you figure out the level? GLW here. Jay, I know you've been on that all day. This one was a great one here. Clear. We'll see how well this does over the next few days here. Target is not a stock that I would ever buy or own. I'm not interested. All right, volume. All right, love it. Love to see you watching some of that volume flow. Looks like that volume was kind of dropping and then started to build, and that was your trigger in there. Cores. You guys were talking about cores earlier. Let me go ahead and bring that up here. I can't do it in Trade the Pool. It's not part of their feed real quick, but let's take a look at cores here. This stock up 4%. Look at this. So this right here, this type of thing, to me, in order for you to actually trade this, I mean, this is juicy, right? A dip down to the 930 handle, rip. We actually went towards 1075. You have to have some type of feeling or slant on a stock like this. I'm not sure what this would have, I'm not sure how I would have made sense of this one. Really, really good bounce here, though. Course. Wow, you guys were on that one. You were on that one. Looking around here. You know what I think the most shocking thing here today is that the Twitter streets seem to have been fairly dry, and that is not expected, especially given the way Bitcoin is moving to the downside here. ASNS. That's one that we've talked about here before. This is popping off the bottom. I'm not sure if we've gotten anything in there. PLTR. ESPR, Esperion Therapeutic. Boy, we've dealt with PRs from this company a whole bunch. IVP just kind of flagging lower here. Eat It, the gene editor. Oh, why don't you like Target? Well, first of all, I don't actually think you get a whole lot of good deals at Target. The stuff that is really, really kind of low price there is kind of cheap in feel. I've had success replacing all of my Target trips with Amazon or Costco over a number of years here. I don't care for Target. I also don't think companies should be getting involved in politics. Target's CEO loves to do that. So that's just not my thing. However, I am receptive to possible setups here on the chart. And frankly, looking at this, I mean, we are possibly breaking through a 50-day here on Target if we're able to do that. Let's see if we get a close above that. Sorry, I'm not used to this camera angle. Let's see if I can. No, that's no good. No, that's no good. Well, I really have to use that initial one there. Okay, I'll try to stay centered in there. Folks in NYC are getting great deals. Are those the ones that aren't paying? Anyway, nonetheless, the trading setup here from today, well taken. That they actually just spiked and kind of sat there. SMCI rejected at that VWAP. Robert, that was a decent trade, especially for you to lighten, take some of those gains there right at the VWAP. I think that's what you did based on what you were saying. Hey, talking about Unity, there's a stock we haven't pulled up in a long time, waiting for Unity management to turn the company around for an entry. I'd love to see them sell to Apple. Do you think that's possible? I don't know that I'm not really on that story. Is that a possibility? Is that something that you're kind of waiting for? Are there hints at that? Unity here actually moving up here today. It's only a 30-cent move. Unity, this is a pretty decent bottomed out chart. I don't see any new stocks on the scanner since this morning. We got all of our action in what feels like the first 40 minutes, and then everything kind of dried up. Or at least new things dried up. Maybe I should have said. I'm going to keep flipping through here. We'll see. Folks, one of the things I've been doing, I know we're only here for the morning. One of the things that I've been doing is when I get back after the lunch hour, back, whether it be from lunch or from meetings or from whatever it is, I generally try to use the movers tool in Pro to take a look at what's been moving over the recent half hour or the recent time frame. It just hasn't been. I'm going to do the same thing here today and see if we have anything in the afternoon. But so far, not very optimistic. EBS here at the highs. ANVS, this did get a back above the VWAP. We'll see if it actually goes for the highs there. ZAP, is that okay? So that dip and rip, and now it's kind of rolling over here. Is really only one good trade here, and that was on the curl. Someone in here hit that. That was pretty much the only good one today. Cores, yeah, sorry, I don't have that one. Cores here still at the highs, trying to set new highs here, 1071. Don't have it in the trade the pool feed. I did see some Cores calls getting bought, something to keep in mind. So it looks like some of the option chain is active as well. MYO, this actually just flashed off the relative volume scanner. I see, because it pulled back. That candle pulled it back. Unity selling to Apple is a bag holder's fantasy. Yeah, Apple can't bail out everybody, that's for sure. One of the reasons you were suggesting that, it sounds like, Unity is used in a lot in AVP application, is somewhat key to Apple's spatial computing narrative. There have been rumors of them selling to Apple for years. Okay. Well, if those rumors have been happening for years and it still hasn't materialized, that might be kind of fading more and more into a pipe dream. All right, folks, that's going to do it here for today. Happy Monday. We are back. It still looks like we have kind of a summer doldrum month. SPY did open at near the highs. We've come back in a little, but everything seems kind of orderly. Appreciate all of you and your well wishes to 13. We'll have him back as soon as the weather allows. You folks have a great rest of your day. Stay green, stay safe, and stay focused, and we will